For that we ought to be eternally grateful. In the favorite song books on this morning, let's notice hymn number 5, I'll Fly Away. Hymn number 5, I'll Fly Away. I'll fly away. Hymn number 5. If we all have it together, let's together sing. Some glad morning when this life is over, I'll fly away to a home God so blessed the shore. Hymn number 6 in the same hymn book. Hymn number 6, Holy Spirit. Hymn number 6, Holy Spirit. We have a word of prayer this morning. We have it, let's together sing. Holy Spirit, dwell in me, touch my eyes that I might see all your goodness, grace, and power. Stay beside me every hour. Be my drink, be my living bread. Keep me sheltered, keep me fed. Holy Spirit, dwell in me. beside Jordan lay my head. In God's bosom lay my head. Let me live in a brand new place. See my blessed Savior face. Holy Spirit, rescue me.
Let us bow. Eternal, righteous, and everlasting Father, the Father of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for all that you've done for us and will continue to do for us throughout ages.
Well,
Help us to learn and respect each other. Help us to be the kind of people we need to be. Help us to show love to everybody. No matter who it is, members or non-members. Let us learn to respect each other as God has commanded. For in Christ's name we pray. Amen. Amen. $243. $243. Some glad morning and this life is over. I'll fly away to home, God's celestial shore. I'll fly away. Oh, I'll fly away. Oh, glory.
morning. Good morning. Good to be back in the house of the Lord one more time. Amen. Amen. Through hard trial and tribulation, persecution, God's faith. In the book of Matthew, chapter 27, and verse 46, it reads like this. And about the ninth hour, Jesus cried with a loud voice, saying, Eli, Eli, my sabachthani. That is to say, my God, why hast thou forsaken me? I have read to you Matthew chapter 27 and verse 46. May the Lord add a blessing to the reader here, but most of all the doer of his holy and everlasting word. Amen.
Number 12. Let's sing that to men now.
Yeah.
So, man. Him, I just want to come get married, needs to look right. My glasses in the seat, so I need help. The benefit of sin, the hope of man and triumph, Jesus came from above. He spoke these to me, the whole glory to God, mercy, what once was love. Oh, glory to God. He's holding my hand. He safely will guide. I know He lifted me up and caused me to stand. Oh, that's why I love Him so. Friendship is not makes and me obey. Christ in my precious dear. I'm glad in my heart that now I can say Jesus is my best friend. Oh, glory to God, He's holding my hand. He safely will guide. I know He lifted me up and caused me to stand. Oh, that's why I love Him so. I'm happy today while going along. Savior is kind and true. He lifted me up and gave me a song. I sing it the whole day through. Oh, glory to God, He's holding my hand. He safely will guide. I know He lifted me up and caused me to stand. Oh, that's why I love Him so. Oh, glory to God, He's holding my hand. He safely will guide. I know He lifted me up and caused me to stand. Oh, that's why I love Him so.
We have come down to another portion of the Lord's service known as giving. Back around scriptures for what we will be doing will be taken from the 1 Corinthians chapter 16. And it reads like this. Now concerning the collections for the saints, as I have given order to the churches of Galatia, even so do ye. Upon the first day of the week, let every one of you lay by and restore as God has prospered him, that there be no gathering when I come. Let us bow our heads and pray to this offering that God will say. Dear God, our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy holy and everlasting name. When we come to this portion of the Lord's service, dear God, you know that we know that you have blessed us. And Father, all you're asking for is just a little bit in return, because that's the way you set it up. And hopefully, Heavenly Father, we will govern ourselves according to be obedient to thy word and give back a portion what you bless us with. And we hope to do this cheerfully, not grudgingly, nor of necessity. For we know that you love a cheerful giver. And we're praying that this money be used for the edification, glorification, and will bless the saints of God and those that have need from time to time. In Jesus' precious name we pray and ask it all. Amen. 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 We want to thank all the saints here that followed protocol, because we had a box in the back that all the monies are laid by was put in. So we just want you to know that it's back there. And I hope and trust that you picked up your communion cups, because we're not passing trays today following protocol. And the preacher had already handed this down to us. And we must obey the preacher, because when we obey the preacher, we obey God. All right. Is that all right? Thank you so much. We're going to go and use the foundational scripture, because everything we do in the house of God, we do it by his simple instructions. The Bible said on the first day of the week, 27th of Acts, the first day of the week, when the disciples came together to break bread, Paul preached unto them, ready to depart on the morrow. He continued his speech until midnight. Right. Then we go just a little bit farther, because there's more we need to talk about. And I think that's in the 11th chapter of 1 Corinthians. And it reads something like this here. It says, for I have received of the Lord that which also delivered unto you, that the Lord Jesus, the same night in which he was betrayed, took bread. And he reckoned and said, take, eat, this is my body which is broken for you. This do in remembrance of me. After the same manner, he also took the cup, and he stepped, saying, this cup is the New Testament in my blood. This do as often as you drink it in remembrance of me. For as often as you eat this bread and drink this cup, ye do show the Lord's death until he come. Wherefore whosoever shall eat this bread and drink this cup of the Lord unworthily shall be guilty of the body and the blood of the Lord. But let a man examine himself, and so let him eat that bread and drink of that cup. For he that eateth and drinketh unworthily eateth and drinketh damnation to himself, not discerning the Lord's body. At this time you may take your communion pass and do what you're supposed to do at this time. certainly hope, trust, and pray that everybody feels themselves with communion back. This ends this portion of the service of the new Lord's Supper. Thank you. Thank you very much.
I was asked to sing 663. You never mentioned him to me. Amen. 663. Don't forget, I need help. Amen. When in the better land, before the body stand, a deeply grieved our souls, bear
Good Sunday morning.
Amen.
We are thankful for the presence of one and all. It is encouraging as we are in some transitions of sorts. This has been a very fluid matter. We appreciate the idea that God has blessed and kept, and we seem to be realizing some increase in regards to those who have a desire to come back together. Thank you for each and every person that is here on this morning. We are most of all thankful to God that He's blessed us, that He's kept us, that He's provided and protected. Let me say, even before I delve into the matter at hand in regards to the message on this morning, especially for those of you perhaps that have been away from us for a while, we have made some adjustments, especially in light of this COVID-19 virus. And I want to, you'll probably hear me from time to time just remind you until you or we get accustomed to the adjustments that we have made. Of course, as you walk into the auditorium on this morning, and that will be so for some time, in regards to the leadership and myself in our conferencing, we looked at some things that we believe would be safe and helpful in light of the circumstance that we continue to deal with. So there's a table at the rear of the auditorium as you come in. We want to remind you, we want to encourage you to take your communion items as you come in and leave your offering in the box. We're doing that so that we don't have to pass trays of any sort. Helps us to keep down the possibility of the spread of anything, if anything exists amongst us. And I reiterate, as I said earlier, we are especially thankful to God. God has really been kind to Fiske Boulevard Church of Christ. We have not had the experience of illness as it relates to the virus, at least not that we know of. Now, another reason, of course, for caution is, of course, those that are asymptomatic, that essentially are positive for the virus, but show no signs. In other words, they've had no sense of illness, nothing has gone different from what you normally do. You're blessed, amen, somebody, I will tell you that. But we have to be careful because we have some amongst our number that are more susceptible to the negative impact of the virus than others are. So continue, please, to bear with us while God is doing what God does. We are confident that God is going to deliver us through this. We just don't know when, but we know while we are in the situation that we are, we want to do the best that we can. Yesterday, I had the opportunity, as some in our church family did as well, to take part in a peaceful march on yesterday, a March for Justice, at least it was titled, in the Brevard County area here. Rockledge and Cocoa in particular were very well represented. The truth be told, I'm sure there was more than just residents of Rockledge and Cocoa. There was quite a few thousand that were with us on yesterday as we come right up Fiske, as a matter of fact. Very impressive. If you have the opportunity, if you are a Facebookian, and do some time on Facebook, myself and others amongst our church family posted some videos as well as some pictures, and I think you'll be impressed. And part of the reason why I say that is because it seems that the representation in terms of those that are saying something needs to be done was a great cross-section. Every ethnicity in this community was present. And I was just impressed with the idea we have capacity to come together, that we can do something to encourage the changes that are impacting our community. So it was just an awesome thing to be a part of, and we appreciate the same. For those of you that don't keep up necessarily with trends perhaps, or some things that amongst the number of the Church of Christ are doing, one of the things that we're doing today, first Sunday in the month of June 2020, is our sermons are intended to have underlying and a strong emphasis on the idea of social justice. If I had to define it, and allow me to share this with you, and I think I want to simplify it a little bit, but just by way of definition, when you talk about social justice, it's a concept of fair and just relations between the individual and society, as measured by the distribution of wealth, opportunities for personal activity, and social privileges. It is the idea that there is equality amongst persons regardless of ethnicity. It is the idea that the privileges that one race has are the same privileges that are available to others. And it has caused us at this point, because we've seen some deficiencies even in the United States of America relative to the matter of social justice. And so you find some folk marching in peaceful protest. Amen, somebody. Remember that he said, according to Paul's writings in the book of Ephesians, it's all right to be angry. Just make sure you don't sin. And so one thing that we appreciate about the peaceful protest was there's a great gathering. It was very encouraging. And just the idea that we have the capacity to come together in unified fashion for the benefit of the society of which we are a part of. And so, you know, for those of you that have had the opportunity to be present, whether you've been here physically or you've been able to worship with us through the virtual means, Facebook Live and or YouTube Live, or even our conference hall line, in the last few weeks we've been dealing with the subject matter crisis in Jesus Christ's life. It was ironic when we initiated this matter because there were some things unfolding as it relates to the pandemic of which we are dealing with. But the matter of social justice has been brought to the forefront like never before. As a matter of fact, I had the opportunity on yesterday as we were talking. Some of you all are familiar with, those of you who lived through 60s, especially as adults in the 1960s. You remember when we were working towards civil rights and we were working to have equality for African American people and trying to address matters that would prove to be helpful in our communities in particular. Well, one of the things that we discussed on yesterday was the idea that there was a time that it was just a group that was out there. It was good to see on yesterday that every group was represented. Y'all not feeling me now. Listen, when we can come together as a people and say this treatment, this behavior, the actions and the reactions are not appropriate and we need to do something, it's a good day in the United States of America. And so we are appreciative. So we were dealing with the matter of crisis in Jesus Christ's life. Y'all remember Matthew chapter 27 at verse number 46. It is the cruelty of Golgotha. It is the idea that the Lord has found himself in a position of crucifixion. He has been mistreated, to say the least. There has been a crown of thorns plaited and placed on his head. They spit on him. They put the reed in his right hand and mocked him, saying, "Hail, King of the Jews." Not only they spit on him, he had been stripped and beaten, brought naked before. How embarrassing must it have been. A punishment that he took not because he did anything wrong, but he took the punishment because of you and I. What they did to him and the way that he was treated was not because he deserved what he got, but he did it for you and me. And I don't know about anybody else in here, but every now and again I have to shout all by myself because I got what I didn't deserve. And for that, we ought to be shoulder thankful. So the idea of social justice is nothing new. Amen, somebody. As a matter of fact, there was such prejudice in regards to Jesus Christ's hometown that somebody said, "Can anything good come out of Nazareth?" Amen, somebody. Not only did they despise the Savior, didn't even like the place he came from. Somebody ought to say amen right there. You know, somebody talks about the place that you were born, or the family that you come from, or the part of the track that you lived on, and didn't like you simply because of the name. So we're familiar with the idea of discrimination. We're familiar with the idea of being treated inappropriately. Listen, you missed it in terms of what the Bible shared. The Bible says, John chapter 4, you remember that Jesus came to the well and there was a woman at the well. And Jesus quite simply said to the woman in John 4, "Give me a drink." And the woman said, "Wait a minute, Jesus, you know. Come here now, see it. You got a problem, you got a situation, you've got some injustice amongst ethnic groups, even in Bible times." And the woman said, "You know the Jews and the Samaritans don't have no dealings with one another. There's a problem between those two races of people, and we don't interact one with another." So the idea of the need for social justice is nothing new. But for us to reach a point in time in life where it's being addressed the way that it is, listen, it's not just the idea of the people that marched down Fiske on yesterday. It's the idea of a group of persons that are coming together from diverse backgrounds, diverse experiences, diverse kinds of treatments, diverse situations and circumstances, that somebody's coming together and said, something has to be done.
Go ahead, preacher.
Now, social justice, a concept of fair, just relations between the individual and society, measured by distribution of wealth, opportunities for personal growth and development, activity, and social privileges. Everybody didn't always get the same way. Amen, somebody. There has been history that has suggested there were certain places you didn't go after it got so late. That there were certain parts of town that you couldn't purchase a home in. Come on in here now, y'all. I'm not, man, I'm just recording or reversing or rehearsing a history that we're familiar with. Because the thing about it is, you can't always be quiet if you want something to be different. And then, in protesting and in moving in such a way that some things might be changed, that circumstances and situations are better, sometimes somebody got to say something. We just tell your neighbor somebody ought to say something. So there are times and occasions as people of God, and I know we're people. I know we don't want to see harm come to nobody. I know we're not interested in folk that wear a uniform being harmed. We're not interested in folk of certain ethnic groups being harmed. That's not the desire of the people of God. But we recognize at the same time that the only way that things are going to get better is somebody going to have to say something. So let me say a couple of things, and I'm trying to handle things in an appropriate fashion. Let me just take you back. I need you all to unlock my PowerPoint right now. I need you to unlock my PowerPoint. I need to move Matthew chapter 27. Let me get back to verse 46. I got to settle myself just a little bit, and that we can get back to this word. I need to come back here, bring you to a place, show you the correlation between this message, social distancing, and social justice, and what we're working on, and continue to labor accordingly. And hopefully, I'll be able to do this in conclusive fashion on this morning. The Bible says this, Matthew chapter 27, thank those brothers that preceded me at verse number 46, and about the 9th hour, Jesus cried with a loud voice, saying, Eli, Eli, lama sabachthani, that is to say, my God, why hast thou forsaken me? Dealing with this third part of the subject matter, crisis in Jesus Christ's life. Crisis in Jesus Christ's life. Remember, by way of introduction, to bring you back to the place of which we have been over the course of this series. God has made us several promises. There are occasions that we feel, for whatever the reason, that he has forsaken us or forgotten us, or we feel some kind of way alone. And it's usually in times when we're going through stuff and dealing with the unpleasantries of this life. Needless to say, Jesus finds himself in excruciating pain. He's been treated some kind of way. He's dealing with something that he's never dealt with before. He's going through something that's going to cause him transition through that vehicle called death. And it's for that reason that this is crisis in Jesus Christ's life. He finds himself in an awkward or unfamiliar, never having been in such a position before, and feels the serious discomfort of his circumstances. That's putting it politically correct, amen, somebody. Jesus was in agony. Jesus was in pain. There was humiliation. There was the things that he dealt with and went through, and this was necessary for your sake and for mine. What is ultimately true for our master in such circumstances, as herein noted, is frequently true of each of us. You can't really have drive to address social injustice or social justices unless injustice is present. Y'all see it right there? Y'all see it right there? We've been through enough. We've been mistreated. We've been mishandled. We've been denied such equality that sometimes, at some point, somebody got to say something. Remember, it's a concept of fair and just relations between individuals and society. Measured by distribution, we didn't always get what we always deserved. Yeah. Listen, if I had to just give you a very straightforward kind of illustration, some of you all that came up from the South especially might know about sharecroppers. You remember that the sharecropper's responsibility was to farm the crops and those kinds of things, and at a particular point in time, there was supposed to be distribution of the funds that were raised from between the person person that was working the fields and the owner of said fields. But one thing about sharecropping, it seems like from the stories that I've been told, I'm not old enough to have had that experience personally, but I believe some of y'all here know where I'm going with this. I'm made to understand that there was a time of settling, that there was a time you were supposed to be able to get what you had earned, and you always had a situation or a circumstance that you never had raised enough money to advance and get past what you had been and where you had been, and the situation and circumstance was so bad. I've talked to members of the body of Christ that said the only way we got out of the situation that we got up, we left them by night. I talked to a brother that's a member of the Lord's church and said the reason why we got out of the sharecropping situation we were in was the house burned down. And since the house burned down, we didn't have a place to stay, and so we had to go. And by the cover of night, so this idea of distribution of wealth and getting what one even has earned and or deserved, and not being treated properly or handled fairly, it's not new.
That's true.
But with the recent killings of one Mr. Floyd, with the vivid picture of the video of those who have authority with the express purpose and or intent to protect and serve, being guilty of the extreme opposite of such, placed his knee on the neck of a man, placed in submission, hollering, "I can't breathe," crying out to his mom before he finally was silent as a result of his encounter with death at the hands of this officer. It's just reached a point in time where somebody has to say something. So then when I look at this crisis, remember by definition, it's a dramatic, emotional, or circumstantial upheaval in a person's life. Watch it. A dramatic, emotional, or circumstantial upheaval in a person's life. What's a more of a dramatic, emotional, or circumstantial upheaval than the loss of life? Jesus knew it. Matthew chapter 27, the Bible identifies the idea that he cried out, and when he had done so, he gave up the ghost. Y'all remember when you check behind in Matthew chapter 27, if I remember properly, there was a soldier, a centurion that came and pierced him in the side, and the Bible identifies out came forth blood and water. He is deceased. I want you to know that there was practice, I'm told, that they would take and they would break the legs of a person that had been on a cross during the process of crucifixion, because the point was that it would help to hasten death, because as long as you had the capacity to push up, you could get some breath and take in some air, and it would literally prolong your life. I'm told that scholars have suggested that as they came to check and see how things were coming along for Jesus and where he was at in terms of the point of the process of moving towards death, that the intention was to check and see, and if he was not, they would break his legs. But the prophecy was foretold that it would happen. And I want you to know and understand that it didn't. But the fact of the matter is that he did what he did for your sake and for mine. He gave his life. And I want you to know and remember the text has identified that Jesus, even before he got to the place of crucifixion, went and prayed repeatedly, "Father, if you will, let this cup pass from me." Listen. So watch this. Before you feel like don't nobody know what you're going through. Before you feel like don't nobody understand what I've experienced. Jesus know about that and some.
He do. Oh, Jesus knows.
He knows about discrimination based on where he's from. He knows about the idea that somebody said he claims to be the Son of God. He knows about being mistreated because of who he was or what his purpose was in coming. Listen, some folk don't like you simply because of the color of your skin. Some folk don't like you because of God's purpose in your life. Some folk don't like you because of where you come from. Some people don't like you because of the family you're part of. Jesus knows all about that. I remember the Bible identified the principle at a point in time that Jesus was doing some teaching in the temple, and at first everybody was impressed. Remember, serving properly, he about 12, 13 years old, somewhere around there about, and somebody's coming into the temple, and they listening, watching, hearing him, how he's teaching, and they said, "Man, who is this?" Man, listen to how he teaches. and where are you getting all this? And they began to recognize, or some folk began to speak in terms of who he was. Wait a minute, ain't that Joseph's boy? Ain't that Mary's baby? He's the one, that's that comforter's boy. Amen, somebody. And the more they talked about it, the more they realized, listen, sometimes familiarity breeds contempt.
That's good right there.
Can I help? Can I bless somebody right there?
You doing?
Just tell your neighbor, you just don't know. Now I want you to understand why you're saying what you're saying. You just don't know. You just don't know the purpose that God has for you. Now I'm gonna bless you. I'm gonna bless you. They mad at it because they more than talked about it and thought about the idea. Wait a minute. This is the comforter's boy. This is Mary's baby. He come out of Nazareth. Nothing good comes from him. Yo, come on now, come on now. And the more they identified, the more they thought about what was impressive now turns to disdain before everything is said and done. Friends, listen. Folk that knew you win oftentimes won't let you live beyond what you were. I'm not saying that you are something less than what you ought to be. It's just that they remember when you were what you were. And if you get any place more than what you used to be, they're going to remind you where you come from. They're going to remind you of your daddy. You know your daddy did some time. You remember your mama, she got caught up in some stuff. They're going to remind you about all of that. And it's nothing more oftentimes than the idea.
You better go in. Well, you know you're in here now. My Lord.
So, think about the idea that a crisis is a dramatic, emotional, circumstantial upheaval in a person's life. Let me give you some things and I'll take my seat. First of all, y'all remember we talked about theories in crisis, dealt with the idea that Jesus says in verse 46, of Matthew 27, my God, why hast thou forsaken me? Forsaken from the Greek term means to leave alone, to leave behind in some place. And I want you to know that John 8, verse 16, John 8, verse 29 suggests that the Father does not leave the Son. Not only do I want to suggest that, but I want you to see, because there's no contradiction here. I want you to understand what I'm trying to get you to see. We see a time and occasion when you go through some things in the flesh.
Yeah, you better
and your flesh will cause you.
You gotta say it. You say it right now.
You have some times in this life where you have some aches and pains and some stuff hit you. And you ever had it so bad that you just wish you were dead?
Yeah.
Lord God, my God. I'm trying to help somebody right now. I'm not trying to pull on the idea that you went there, that you've been there. That's not my point and purpose. But I'm talking about when you deal with the flesh and the challenges we sometimes face in the flesh. There have been some times, y'all know it's true. You had some time when you watched your loved one that was suffering with that diagnosis and it got to the place you just said, Lord, if you don't mind, will you just go and take him? I don't want to see him suffer like that. I don't want to see her gasp for every breath of air. I would rather, Lord, you just take them on with you so they don't have to know. Come on now.
No more.
Jesus was in such excruciating pain that he felt forsaken.
You get with that now.
He felt forsaken. And y'all remember before he got there, he said, Father, if you will, let this cup pass from me. It wasn't easy. And the Lord knew it wasn't going to be easy. That's why he says, nevertheless, not my will. I've always said before, if it really, and see, listen, when you understand the struggle of him doing for us what he did, then you have greater appreciation for what he did. Some of us wouldn't have did it. Say amen. Some of us wouldn't have did it. Y'all would have just been in trouble like you really. Okay, y'all trying to get quiet on it. So first of all, there was queries in crisis. And I've always said this. Let me just drop this before I move to this next slide so I can bring you up to speed. Worst time to make a decision is when you're in crisis.
You right.
Worst time to make a life-altering kind of decision is when you're in the midst of a crisis. Because, listen, crisis can move you to do some stuff that you wouldn't do under normal circumstances. Crisis will cause you to behave. Crisis will. There are folk that are doing time in prison right now because they were in the midst of a crisis and responded on a crisis and found themselves now locked up. Just to have that, those 2 seconds where they reacted and responded. That's why I appreciate Paul saying, be angry, for sin. Now, don't let anger drive you to a place that you'll do something that you're going to later regret. So not only was there queries in crisis, but remember we talked to you about the idea of obedience in crisis. And just did something very simply to suggest that obedience in crisis can be difficult. John chapter 10, verse number 17 to verse number 18, Jesus dealing with the crisis in his life. It was difficult. It was difficult. It was difficult. Jesus notes laid down his life as a result of his Father's command. It comes to a point that may have not, if it was left up to him, been what he would have did, but based on his Father's directive, when he says, nevertheless, not my will, but thy will be done. I'm saying to you right now, church, obedience isn't always simple or easy. Matthew chapter 26, verse number 36 to verse number 45. It's in that place that we find 3 times Jesus asked God to let this cup pass. Cup. Jesus saying, Lord, if you don't mind, let this, it can come close. It can move to the degree that I can feel the wind off of its passing. But what he's saying is,
Anyway.
So finally there's this. Third and final point as we conclude. In crisis. In crisis. I'm going to get you there. I know some of you all keeping up with the slide, but in crisis, remember the plan. Now, let me say this. You need to know this slide that's in front of you allows us to understand that the cup the Lord wanted to pass allows us to know that some cups we don't want. As a matter of fact, sometimes, Matthew chapter 20, verse number 20 to verse 24, we ask for things that we really don't know what we ask for. You remember those fellas' mother came and asked Jesus, Lord, if you would, let one of my sons be on your right hand, and let the other son be on the right. And Jesus says, now are they prepared to drink from cup of which I got to drink? Now, this text is the text that is an example of the doctrine of suffering, or the baptism of suffering. In other words, it's the idea of being immersed in suffering. So Jesus is asking this mother, are your boys ready to be immersed in the suffering? Like I'm going to go, oh no, y'all got quiet, y'all got quiet, y'all got quiet, y'all got quiet, y'all got quiet. Is it possible, even in this life, you might get immersed in some stuff? Is it possible in this life, you might find yourself going through some stuff that it seems like as hard as you try, you can't get out of it? Oh, come on now. Is it possible that regardless of how you manage your finances, it seems like you are an application of the Old Testament phrase like having a personal hole in it? It don't make no difference how much money you put in it. It seems like the more you put in, the more is out by the time. Y'all come on in here right now. It just seems like you got bills and stuff stored up, and you don't understand how you're going to make it from day to day because you got more bills coming and you got capacity to pay what's coming. Let me just say to you. I know it's easy to say, but if you can receive this with blessing, remember the plan. Remember the plan. Ray and I were talking this morning as we were heading to the radio station for the radio broadcast, and we were talking about the idea that if the truth be told, problems in life shape us.
Okay, amen. Sure will. Amen. You said that right. Yes. It will.
Come here. You ever had a want or desire to improve your situation of life, your condition, your position in life? You ever had a time, and I'm not saying anything wrong with it, I need you to help. I need to set that for you first. You had a vehicle, but you want a better vehicle. Now, let me help you in terms of how problems can shape us. You're really not ready to drive the Mercedes, until you got the first BLD. Yo, come on, come on. See, if you always got the best, you don't appreciate it when you get it, because you just expect that that's what this life holds me. How many of us remember the time when we were first moving out of our mom and daddy's house? And then there was a rude awakening shown to all of us because mom and daddy had did 20, 30 years of doing what they did to get to where they were. So by the time that you're leaving their house after 30 years of problems, struggles, situations, and circumstances, and you want to leave what they took 30 years to get, and you want to have the day one. It don't work like that. And if you move out and got it just as good as they had it, you ain't going to appreciate it. And so life has told me that one of the things that all of us have to do, just tell me that you got to pay your dues. In this life, you have to go through some stuff before you can get to the Mercedes. And I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with the Mercedes. I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with the Cadillac, the Buick, the Chevrolet, whatever it is you try. But if you want the best, before you can get the best, you got to go through the other stuff.
Go ahead now.
Sometimes you can't appreciate the good that God does until you've really been through some garbage, amen, somebody. Until you've been through some hurt and pain, some discomfort, some situations and circumstances. Listen. Sis, you don't appreciate a good man until you've had a few bad ones. Oh, Lord, I know some sisters can say amen right now. Yeah. He don't even have to be cute. Come on, I just want him to treat me right. Come on in here. I ain't worried about him making all the money in town. I just want him to be good to me. I know I came down the street right there. Bro, you used to be after a Coke bottle. You don't care. It'd be a cave now as long as she has it right. Somebody say amen. But listen. You didn't get to that place until after you've been through some stuff to appreciate whoever. I believe that God used the problems in our lives to shape us, to mature us, and to improve us. Social justice. We've been through so much. We've been denied. We've been mistreated. We've been in an ugly place. And think about it. The civil rights era was in my parents' generation. Now what we're doing now is really in my children's generation. Y'all missed it, didn't you? You missed it. I'm telling you right now, if you really tell the truth in terms of the way my grandparents were treated and what they had to go through and deal with, and now there's some serious consideration, we need to do something, it's on my kids' generation. So there is 3 or 4 generations that you talk about struggling for us to get to where we are right now. Can I tell Big Mama, can I tell Nana, can I tell Granddaddy, can I tell Big Daddy, can I tell that generation, you want to tell them what you went through. You want to tell them what you had to deal with for this society to be where they are right now. Because they don't have an appreciation for the idea. They just see the current. But this ain't the first time this has happened. This ain't the first time. This didn't start in this generation. It's been going on. Now think about it. Before there can be, at least to the resolution that will be realized now, you got at least 4 generations.
That's right.
Think about it. I'm doing a couple of things simultaneously. Social justice, the concept of fair and just relations between the individual and society, measured by the distribution of wealth, opportunities for personal activity, and social privileges. Finally, in crisis. Now, if I really understand that, watch this. I'm going to mess you up. Then I'm going to go. Crisis. A dramatic, emotion, or circumstantial upheaval in a person's life.
All right.
We've known that for generations. Some of us got to be careful about who we talk to and what we do. because our families were dispersed a long time ago.
All right.
Mama might find herself in one part of the country. Dad might be someplace else.
Yes, yes.
Kids might be taken from them. Our crisis has been a number of generations.
Yes.
Now look, here's what I'm going to tell you. In crisis, remember the plan. Watch this. Jesus Christ knew the plan in advance. Fellas, I want you to help me with two texts, but there are multiple texts here. Brother Felton, if you would, Mark chapter 14, verse number 17, verse number 21. And then Brother Smoke, John chapter 14, just those two places. Mark chapter 17, Brother Felton, verse number 21, 17 through verse number 21. And then if you would, Brother Smoke, John chapter 14, verse number 1 and verse number 4. Now here's what I want you to see. Get this in your spirit. I'm saying to you right now that before Jesus would say on the cross, my God, why hast thou forsaken me? He knew the plan. Now this helps you to understand the idea of when you're in a position, when you're suffering in crisis, when you're in the middle of a circumstance, a situation that's an upheaval in your life, you'll respond out of the pain and discomfort of the crisis, although you know what the plan was.
Right.
Come on now, don't miss it. Don't miss it. Don't miss it. I'm trying to land this big word. Don't miss it.
Come on, yeah.
If you remember the crisis, hopefully it'll help you deal with while you're going. If you remember the plan, it'll help you to deal with the crisis you're going through.
All right, amen.
But you got to remember the plan. Now I'm doing this like this. I'm doing this like this. I just want you to see. I'm going to tell you what I want you to see about the text. The text identifies the point that Jesus knew what was supposed to happen before he got to the cross.
Amen.
Not only did he know what was supposed to happen before he got to the cross, he shared with his disciples and those that would listen to his teaching in terms of what he's going to do.
Yeah.
He said, I'm going to die.
Yeah.
But on the third day, I'll be back. So the idea of the cross, he already knew that was going to be his fate. He knew the plan. Oh, okay, let me show you this. Brother Felton, come on, help me. And let's so I can close this out. Yes, sir. I'm leaving you right there in the book of Mark at chapter 14, verse number 17 through verse number 21. Let's make this plain.
And in the evening he cometh with the 12.
Read, sir.
And as they sat and did eat, Jesus said, I say unto you, one of you which eateth with me
All right.
shall betray me.
Hold it. You got to catch this. He's saying the person that's going to betray me is sitting and eating. Wait. Back it up. He knew that he was going to be betrayed. Else he couldn't have said at dinner what he said.
Yeah.
He said, the one that's going to betray me, go here and read, brother Felton. They act like they don't see it.
I say one of you
What you what?
eateth with me
Research.
shall betray me.
Shall betray me. Research.
And they began to be sorrowful,
Uh-huh.
and to say unto him, one by one,
Lord, is it I?
is it I? And another said, is it I?
Now, stop right there. I just want you to see the point.
Good.
Watch it. He knew the plan.
Hey.
The text suggests he already knows he's going to be betrayed. Not only does he know he's going to be betrayed, but the text suggests he knows who's going to be his betrayer.
All right.
He knows that already. And let's go to John 14. Let me show you this. John 14. Come on, brother. Help me at verse number 1 to verse number 4. Now we hear this text a lot at the funerals. We hear this text a lot. But really, John 14 is Jesus trying to console, if I might, his disciples. He's really trying to encourage them because he knows the plan. Don't miss that. That's significant. Now, there are several texts. I'm going to ask Brother Smoke to limit his reading to John 14, verse number 1 through 4. But John chapter 2, verse 18 through 22, Matthew chapter 20, verse number 18 and 19, Mark chapter 14, verse number 41. All of these texts identify the idea that before it unfolded, Jesus knew what the plan was.
Yes, sir.
Okay? Now that gives greater strength to the idea then when he says, my God, why hast thou forsaken me?
Yeah.
When you think about the idea that he knew what was supposed to happen before it happened. John 14, we'll stop. Come on, Brother Smoke.
Let not your heart be troubled.
Let not your heart be troubled.
Ye believe in
You
God?
believe in God?
Believe also
Believe
in
so
me.
also in me. Read, sir. In my Father's house. Read, sir. Many mansions. If it were not so, what?
I would
I would have told you. What did he say? What did he say?
I would have told you.
He said, I would have told you so.
Don't
He
you
said, I'm going to prepare a place. Read, sir.
for you.
Now watch this. This is helping you to understand Jesus knew the plan. Before it all unfolded, before it all come to pass, he knows. What does he know? He knows that his intention and his purpose is to go ahead of them to prepare a place for them. And he says in the text that where I am, he knew that his point purpose was not to remain on this earth. He knew that he was not to stay here, but that he was going to have to be. That he rise again. And as a matter of fact, he says later, I'm going to send you another comfort. Why? Because for those that had been with him 3 years, they have lost their comfort. Let none your heart be troubled. Can I say to the people of God this morning? Let none your heart be troubled. You believe in God? Believe also in Jesus. Now he went to prepare a place. But remember the plan. We're going to have to die. And remember the plan from the standpoint of the Bible says that all that name the name of Jesus are going to suffer. We're going to go through some stuff in this life. We're going to experience some difficulties and some displeasures and uncomfortable situations and circumstances. That's part of the process. So when it gets bad, when it gets rough, when that old body starts to slow down, you can't do what you used to do. I teasingly told my wife yesterday, our part in the march was really to be a shuttle service. That is to shuttle some of the walkers of the march to the various destinations. But folk pulling in the parking lot, they get out of the vehicle and just go on and start walking down. So I'm sitting in the van with the air conditioner running and just kind of waiting. And there was 5 or 6 buses across the street picking up folk and taking them down. I said, that's shoot, ain't nothing for me to do. I might as well get on out and start walking. I ain't did no walking in a while. Amen, somebody. I jumped down there all big and bad. I ain't dressed for no 80, 90 degree weather walking on top of it. I ain't dressed for all of that, amen. I got on blue jeans, I got on a t-shirt, I got on another shirt that's kind of heavy. It wasn't but a few blocks, and I got down and stuff pouring off of my face like rain. Y'all not feeling it right now. Have a little compassion for your poor pitiful preacher, amen, somebody. So I'm walking down there, and brothers walking with me, look at me, Brother Sam, you all right? I'm like, yeah, all right, all right. By the time I got home, I told my wife, I'm just going to go ahead and give me a shower. And I said, you better come on in the living room and sit down with me because you probably going to find me snoring in a few minutes. Y'all don't know what. By the time my consolation coming back was the idea, the closer I got to the building, the more excited I got. Amen, somebody. Listen. I ain't going to one. I heard one of the ladies say, because part of the thing that they were breathing, and I got to be careful because I don't want to be disrespectful. Part of the chant was, I can't breathe, because that's what Mr. Floyd said. But she was using it in another application. She was saying, yeah, that showed up true. I can't breathe. And she was huffing and puffing. And she was Charlotte. Listen, if you ain't been out there, if you ain't getting nothing to watch, okay, y'all. Some of y'all too cute right now. Some of y'all too cute. You go on and walk down there and come on back like quick, like you ain't did nothing. Yeah. Some of y'all want to stop right there and told the kids, listen, just go get the car and come pick me up. Oh, Lord. But listen, in all the stuff you go through, all the difficulties that you experience, remember the plan. Some days it's going to be only encouragement for you. Some days it's going to be only encouragement. I got to stop. Listen, I'm appreciative that God lets us come here. I'm thankful for blessing us with the opportunity. Don't forget the plan. Now, in terms of this social justice matter, somebody said it's the squeaky wheel that gets spoiled. Okay. Y'all understand? Sometimes it's the part that makes the most noise that gets the attention. So don't let us get to a place where we are fired up for a minute or two, angry, upset, protesting, and tearing up stuff. Let us hold on to our fervor to the degree that we see things through to the point of change. That's the only way it gets better. Not just get mad for a minute or two, and then go and sit down and don't say nothing. We have to be consistent. But I'm telling you, remember the plan. There was crisis in the life of Jesus. There's been crisis in your life and mine. As long as we live in this time side of life, we will know some crisis. But those that have been with us through Facebook Live, those that have been with us through YouTube Live, thank you for taking time to worship with us virtually. We pray God you can benefit and bless. Should there be anything we can do to help, to aid, to assist, you have prayer requests, note accordingly if you would, contact. If you want to be a member of the body of Christ, contact the Church of Christ in your area, and we are more than willing to submerge you for the remission of your sins. Acts chapter 2, verse number 38, that you can be a child of God, added by God. Acts chapter 2 and verse number 47, that you can be saved. 1 Peter chapter 3 and verse number 21. Now, until the next time, for that audience, may God bless and may God keep is our humble prayer. I want to say to those of us that hear a couple of things, and I always want to do that because I feel that there are some things that we do with us that are specifically for us. One is good to have in our presence this morning, Brother Anderson.